Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for the newest Exorcist film. I'm not a big fan of this franchise. It's like, what, technically the fifth, sixth? Something like that, because there's two part fours. Anyway, I always liked the original film. I don't love it like many people, of course. I was born like 20 years after it came out, maybe 25, something like that. And I thought it was good. It's well made. William Friedkin, what can you expect? Never saw part 2, saw part 3, it's my personal favorite. I think that Legion is just absolutely amazing. William Peter Blatty at the helm and everything really made that film amazing. And then part 4, like I said, was made twice. And I saw one of the versions, I don't know which one it was, and it was terrible, and I hated it, I'll never watch it again. Then we had a TV show, I watched the first season of it, it was okay, 10 episodes, something like that. And then it kind of crapped the bed by the end of the season. And now we have the newest one, who's been kicked off by the man who killed Halloween's franchise, David Gordon Green, coming back with the same team, I assume, from the Halloween films to start off a new kind of trilogy, but kind of quadrilogy, technically. It's kind of like the Halloween trilogy from David Gordon Green. It's technically a quadrilogy if you include the original Carpenter film that has to be part of it to make it make sense. David Gordon Green is a poison, my personal opinion. I love Halloween 2018. Halloween Kills I love, I think, even more. I think it's really fun, a little goofy, a little sloppy, but it's overall really fun. It's the kind of modern slasher that I want more of that we'll never get aside from Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 1, I guess. But still, that was before Halloween Kills. And then Halloween Ends, as I said. Do I need to say more? It killed the franchise. So I didn't go into this movie after seeing the shitty trailers for Exorcist Believer with any kind of confidence at all that it would be a good movie. And then I saw it. And I saw it about a week ago, I would say, before I started trying to catch up on 2023 movie reviews I needed to do for this channel. And I despised it. It was so boring for the first half of like the hour and 45 or 50 minute long runtime. It dragged its feet all the way through that. And then the other half was trying to be scary, but it really didn't go anywhere fun. Even by the end of it, I'm not really excited for this as a setup for a new trilogy of Exorcist films, which who was asking for that? I think everybody would have been okay with one new Exorcist film, not 3, 1. So this particular film basically is a requel, as Scream has now called it, and they're kind of right. It's basically taking the original film, ignoring every sequel after it, and tying directly to that movie. All these years later, I think it takes place in 2023, I assume. Two different families are who we kind of follow. These two families have a daughter per family, and these two daughters are best friends. They go out in the woods one day playing a kind of satanic game. They get lost, they disappear for 3 days, and then finally they show up again, but they start to act weird. They kind of get admitted to hospitals, checked out for assault and everything else, and then the kids start to go crazy and weird and acting all kind of wacky and nutty, and people start to assume in the family that, even from the believer side of the families or the non-believer side of the families, as the title hints, that these two girls might be possessed by demons. Even the same demon possibly possessing both of them. We don't really know, it doesn't really go too much into detail on it, and if it did, I probably tuned out because I hated it so fucking much. You have no idea. Anyway, Exorcist Believer also includes the original mom from Chris McNeil, I think is the actress name, from the original OG William Friedkin movie from the 70s, which is crazy to me. Why did she come back? There's no real reason given. Why did she stick around throughout this story? There's no real reason. This is a postmodern version of The Exorcist that they could only get away with now that William Peter Blatty is dead. That's the sad part of it. It is absolutely awful. And if you even saw the quotes of what William Friedkin said about this film before it came out, it's hilarious. Go check it out. Exorcist Believer is well shot, and it's competent in that regard, I would say. The camera work and whatever. It's not as good as Halloween's trilogy directing. Even down to Halloween Ends, I think, is a better overall directed film and overall movie compared to Exorcist Believer. Surprisingly enough, I never thought I would say that. But if that was a franchise killer in Halloween Ends, Exorcist Believer is the doom of this new trilogy. That'll never happen. I just don't see it happening at all. Even with the end of this movie, I don't see anything else happening. Now, Chris McNeil's character, the mom from the original film, is also looking for Reagan, her daughter who was possessed in the original film, and that's never really resolved at all. This movie, we kind of get understandings of what happened between their relationship, but not really too much about where Reagan is. Apparently she's missing of some sort. Not officially, but whatever. The film is well shot. The tension and whatever is just not really there in the final half of the movie that I talked about being kind of the supposed scary segment of the film. There's nothing really special or fun or scary. There's like one scene that will stick with me the rest of my life from this film involving Chris McNeil's character, and that's it. That's all I retained after a week of this movie. The family actors are good, but there's not really much for them to do. And I noticed too, the first half of the film being so boring, not really developing an atmosphere, it doesn't pull into that second half of the film with trying to be the scarier side of the movie, having an atmosphere. It just doesn't work. It feels choppier in the second half of the film in its editing. And that's a shame, because The Exorcist doesn't have that. Exorcist 3 doesn't have that either. Exorcist Believer, again, is a postmodern version of the original Exorcist film for the most stupid of our entire society who would appreciate this kind of stupid-ass movie. It's a mess, the writing is bad, it's boring, it's crap, it's total trash, and I don't recommend it at all. Even down to the music is not good in this film, which is how do you even make an Exorcist film and have a bad score for it? This film pulled that off, and you would expect David Gordon Green to have at least been able to pull that off. And maybe the makeup could have been better, less CGI bullshit in here. It's such a piece of crap, and I don't recommend it at all. In case you haven't seen it before, you don't need to waste your time on Exorcist Believer. If I had to rate the film on a 5-star basis, I would give this no more than well, since I didn't appreciate anything in it, it's going to get my weakest rating, a 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this piece of shit. I will never watch it again. I never want to sit through it or even look at it or even think about it ever again. And frankly, the trilogy is going to get canceled. I don't see them making any more money off of this crap. Whatever money, that this movie made was clearly out of curiosity by people like myself in the horror audience who know the name Exorcist, who wanted to see something cool, and hoped that David Gordon Green would have learned by now. He did not. So, with all that being said, have you seen Exorcist Believer? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section down below. Let me know everything you think about my review, the movie, all of it. Anyway, 1 out of 5 stars. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.